Narrated through the perspective of Walter Thirsk, Harvest, 2013, by Jim Crace is a literary historical novel that explores themes of displacement and progress. It unfolds in a secluded English village facing external threats to its way of life, a poor harvest, the enclosure acts, and the arrival of three strangers displaced by these changes. The newcomers include a mapmaker surveying the land and a greedy land grabber seeking personal gain by replacing crops with sheep, diverting village profits for himself. The story begins with the arrival of the three strangers who settle on the outskirts of the village, erecting a makeshift shelter and kindling a fire to show their willingness to abide by community rules. However, the declining population and scarcity of resources make the villagers unwelcoming towards them. Fearing the introduction of disease and reluctant to share their limited provisions, they view the newcomers with suspicion. Amidst these tensions, a man known as Mr. Quill is observed lurking on the village periphery, sketching and surveying the land. This fuels apprehension among the villagers, who speculate about the financial difficulties of their master and the possibility of him selling their lands. Tragedy strikes when a fire breaks out accidentally, consuming the master's stables and other structures. Walt, the narrator, attributes the incident to three intoxicated village men attempting to drive out Master Kent's doves in their hallucinogenic state. Seeking justice for the substantial losses, Master Kent insists on finding the culprits. Despite knowing the truth, the villagers choose to scapegoat the newcomers, further complicating the situation. During the chaotic aftermath of the fire, Walt sustains a painful burn on his hand and decides to keep his suspicions to himself. Nursing his injuries at home, he remains silent about what he knows, leaving the fate of the newcomers in the hands of the villagers. The three strangers are punished by having their heads shaved and are sentenced to a week in the pillory. At the harvest feast, Master Kent unveils his vision for the village's future, emphasizing the profitability of wool as a more resilient alternative to crops in unpredictable weather conditions. However, achieving this goal would require clearing and fencing the common land, which unsettles Walt. The villagers heavily rely on the leftovers from the harvest to sustain themselves during the winter. Despite his unease, Walt joins the revelry, dancing and celebrating throughout the night. The next morning, Walt's burnt hand prevents him from working in the fields, so he is assigned to assist Mr. Quill, becoming his local guide and providing insights on the terrain and plant life. A cousin of Master Kent's by marriage, Edmund Jordan, arrives in the village with a claim to the land, challenging Kent's authority. With his wife's passing, Kent's grip on the village has weakened, allowing Jordan to seize control. Jordan is driven by his desire for progress and prosperity, which involves the implementation of sheep farming. Unexpectedly, Mr. Quill reveals that he is working for Edmund Jordan rather than Master Kent. Despite being involved in the plan, Quill does not share Jordan's enthusiasm for sheep farming. As they return from the fields, they stumble upon the pillory, only to find that one of the pilloried newcomers, the old man, has died and been partially devoured by a pig before anyone discovered him. Shortly after Master Jordan's arrival, Master Kent's cherished mare, Willowjack, is found brutally murdered. Walt immediately suspects Jordan's groom, although he also considers the village blacksmith, the trio responsible for the fire, and the local butcher as potential culprits. In their pursuit of the culprit, Walt and Kent instruct the villagers to remain in their cottages while they conduct a search for any bloody clothing. They discover the newcomer woman's shawl, stained with blood. However, both Walt and Kent lie, claiming that the shawl belonged to Kent's late wife and was stolen by a passing thief. Unsatisfied with this explanation, Jordan, acting as the self-appointed magistrate, insists on locating the surviving newcomers for questioning. Mr. Quill shows Walt the maps he has been working on. One depicts the village as it currently exists, while the other represents Jordan's ambitious plan to farm 3,000 sheep. To Walt, the maps feel soulless and inadequate, unable to capture the true essence of their home. Despite Quill's extensive sketching and exploration, the maps seem like mere imitations that pale in comparison to the real world. Walt is left feeling shaken and desolate as he witnesses his entire world laid bare. Meanwhile, Jordan has gathered 2 women and a little girl, accusing them of witchcraft, even targeting the festival's 4-year-old gleaning queen, Lizzie. It is revealed that the young man still trapped in the pillory is the husband of the elusive woman. One of Jordan's men makes a distasteful comment about burning the little girl as a witch, prompting the girl's parents and other villagers to attack him. Fearing retribution, the terrified family decides to leave the village. The following day, Jordan appears calm, having achieved his goal of frightening and driving the villagers away to seize their land. He also intends to make Walt his ally, although Walt's loyalty remains with Kent. As the two masters, their men, and the captive women leave the manor, Walt rebels by setting the pilloried man free. He then proceeds to till a field, gets drunk, and consumes fairy-cap mushrooms. In his intoxicated state, Walt discovers the newcomers, known as the Beldams, looting and setting fire to the village. Additionally, he finds Mr. Quill's lifeless body in the attic of the manor. As the Beldams depart, Walt sets fire to the manor in an act of defiance. Satisfied with the chaos he has caused, Walt gathers his already packed bags and becomes the final person to leave the village's confines. Jim Crace's novel, which he has stated will be his last, received widespread critical acclaim. It was honored with the James Tate Black Memorial Prize for Fiction and the International Impact Dublin Literary Award. Additionally, it was shortlisted for prestigious awards such as the Man Booker Prize, the Walter Scott Prize, and the Goldsmiths Prize. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.